Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 59 of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Winter Garden, Florida.
And I just talked to Brian over there, and he said he's got 2 big truckloads of more stuff coming. So I guess we better save our money.
And also Maple Leaf Tickets in Kissimmee, Florida.
Right, our official ticket agency. Now that summer's here, it's a good time to get your summer tickets.
Discounted, yes, of course, discounted. As you say, the best prices in town.
That's right. So we're going to start off this week talking about magic bands, which are testing at a few of the Disney resorts.
Disney's Contemporary Resort and Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge are both testing. We have not tested it.
Right. What you're seeing here is a giant selection of magic band merchandise, bling, and T-shirts.
Bling and T-shirts. I did not expect to have T-shirts. Rock
the band.
Yeah,
you don't want to rock the band?
No.
I'm with the band?
No.
This is fantastic. We will have to get all of these shirts to add to our collection.
I don't think that's true.
No, but it was pretty funny. I mean, it's been.
I saw somebody buy one though. I saw somebody buy one of the. I think it's one of the kids' shirts, which we'll see in a minute. We're going to see the women's shirts that says.
And look they're branded as Magic. That must be a brand new brand coming out. The Magic Band brand. You could brand it.
And this is a women's shirt. I think it was like $32.95.
Come on, we could have his and her shirts.
No, we're not
the
band
band
have that.
together. I could get I'm with the band. No,
I saw somebody buy the kids shirt, and I don't know if they were serious about buying it.
Or do you think people are doing it for the jokes?
I don't know.
Like we could rent a kid and give them this shirt.
But then they also bought like a stack of 10 of the different, cover bands and stuff, and I thought maybe they're testing it out. I don't know.
Well, the cover. All right, let's explain what all this stuff is. Cover bands are sort of like ties, like men's ties. You know how you want to have a different type of tie for a different type of thing? Well, the Magic Band is the wristband you use to access the fast passes.
But the cover band actually goes over the wristband. You don't wear it around your neck like a tie.
That is a very important point. You would not want it around. You put it over the wristband. So there's a Haunted Mansion one right there. You could see a Tiki one, a Small World. There is a Pirate one. So it's sort of if you want to theme your wrist to the proper occasion. If you're going to a Halloween party, one might want to wear the Haunted Mansion
I won't
band.
be theming my wrist, though, because I don't like stuff on my wrist.
But let's not stop there. You could add some Nightmare Before Christmas, perhaps. Bling it up.
I think these will be very popular. They won't be popular around my wrist because I don't like anything around my wrist, really. But I think those little, as you would say, bling.
Bling.
Yes, will do very well.
And not to be outdone, there's also these big, thick sliding bling, too. So there's
I don't
multitude
understand
of
it all.
bling.
I also didn't understand the way the prices were. I thought that was a little confusing, the way to
let's not forget, we also, when we were there checking this out, we were able to talk to a guest who was doing the testing, and he loved it. He thought it was fantastic. Of course, he was able to do the 3 attractions that he was able to plan out
including
from home.
The parade. I think he said parade viewing and show viewing.
Yes, and he said the parade viewing was wonderful because all the characters knew it was a special area, and they would come and give his kids extra interaction. But the thing I think he liked is he was able to use his room key to get regular fast passes. And then he said if he wanted to change, let's say he did the Magic Band fast pass and he got to an attraction with no wait, he was able to change it to something else that was available and continue on. But now this guy was at concierge level, so he said it was also he could access his concierge. You have to hit a special elevator button for that, so it worked for everything.
I don't know how it will work once it's really in force,
right.
And you can't do it quite to that extent.
Oh, I think that's a very good point. I don't think once this starts, you'll have a bonus 3 fast pass.
Plus all the others.
But so that was it. That's Magic Bands. It's very interesting. I'm sure we'll see a lot more from that coming up. Next, we decided to go to Epcot, which we love, just for a walk, and we discovered the Epcot Character Spot has now reopened.
And there's usually a fairly long wait for this, a half hour at least, and he was just like, come on in, right?
Yeah, come on in. It was like
there was no wait,
show.
like 5 minutes.
And look it was wonderful. And wall carpet.
Wall carpet. And Jeff did say, he's like, oh, look, wall carpet.
And you have video screens now. You're showing clips of the films that.
But we didn't watch it because we kept walking past it.
Well, because the line was
right, there was no line,
short, which was wonderful. But and of course you're inside; it's air conditioned, and I thought it was a nice improvement.
Epcot's been fairly, I mean, Magic Kingdom seems like it's been busy lately, but Epcot has not seemed so busy, which has been nice, because that's my favorite part.
Just got off the Flower and Garden Festival, so it's sort of time transition. It's summertime.
I know, it should be more people there, but I love it because we get to do things quick.
Right. And you know, the characters you're seeing here are the characters that you're about to meet, so it's kind of interesting.
Minnie, Pluto, and Mickey.
Right, right. And I don't think they ever have other characters in there. I think it's usually those three.
I don't know.
From what I'm hearing.
That's probably true, just like the Disney Visa
usually has the same
characters.
Same type of characters. But anyway, so here we go. We're going around the corner, and there is the new sets. I like these new sets because there's a lot of vintage Epcot Center references if you look carefully.
This has been open, I think, a few weeks now.
Yeah, I think it has been open.
We just haven't had a chance to get over.
It was new to us. But so we go and we see the mouse, and of course, I like to ask Mickey to give us a little tour, and I see the old Communicore. See the Communicore in the background there, and it's very nice. Again, I really enjoyed the new sets, and of course the characters. We always love interacting with the characters.
And I like that Disney has gone back and they reference, you know, old Epcot more and more. I like that.
Right, so do I. So we're going to say goodbye to the Big Cheese. I did offer to bring him cheese next time,
but he said no.
He didn't. Yeah, he was not hungry at the moment. And here is Pluto, and I wanted to make sure he was being well kept by the mouse there.
Well, he's always well kept.
Oh, Mickey sometimes doesn't give him the walk he needs or give
How
him
do
enough
you
bone.
know?
And Mickey told me one time.
I don't think that's true. And there's the monorail behind him.
That's right.
We like the sets, and I mean, you'll see these characters all over Walt Disney World, but it's nice to have something different in the background.
Do you remember the old days of Epcot Center when the characters used to wear the space suits and the silver outfits?
You know, I don't remember
rainbow
that.
Colors and things.
I didn't really meet characters when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, and then certainly not when I was adult until I was in my 40s.
Until I dragged you in and started forcing you to see the characters.
No force. I actually enjoy it.
Well, I enjoy it very much, but we'll have to link to some pictures of the old school characters.
Well, I've seen a lot of the pictures and such, you know, that you put up.
And they kind of go along with the different hairstyles, so...
I wish I did. I wish I met characters when I was younger.
But that was it. That was the new character spot, and I thought it was very nice.
I think so too.
And now
Morocco,
Moroccan. So we went to Morocco, and this is a big tarp they have.
But nobody's going to see Moroccan because they weren't playing.
Well, that's true. It rained.
It did rain.
They canceled.
It rained It's raining every day. A lot.
But you could see this new food area is going to be quite big, at least one would think, by looking at all the
It's going to be a restaurant, and and they're all now have pictures on them, except on the one side.
Correct. But because of this new restaurant, we figured, well, let's check out the Tangeriene Cafe, which also has some new offerings.
Well, I noticed they have beef kefta, and I really like the beef kefta that they've served during the Food and Wine Festival, so I wanted to try it here.
Now, what we're looking at here is I'm trying to show the seating. You still have some outside seating here, and this is
at the Tangeriene Cafe.
Correct. This is the Tangerine, but they moved some of the merchandise shop temporarily into this area, which is normally a indoor seated area.
Right. It's been in here probably at least 2 months at this point while they've been working on the new restaurant.
But it's actually kind of cool. It sets the whole mood for the experience. Actually,
I liked having seating here,
well,
but there will be again once everything. I think in the future. I'm assuming.
So here is the menu of the Tangeriene Cafe. There's been a few changes recently. There was a rotisserie chicken that was no longer listed.
Right, and that I guess that must have had a short shelf life. But the beef kefta is again what I was looking for.
That's new. We wanted to try out the new offerings. Oh, but one must not forget to look at the pastry selection.
And we had something, and I don't know what it's called, but it was
a tangerine.
Orange. It was tangerine something.
It was a tangerine
roll
something.
Tangerine.
See we've done much research for this.
But there's no names on most of the stuff, so it was a tangerine roll, and I didn't understand quite what they said that it was called. But
so they could have said anything. They could have said, "Here, have this, choux pastry," and you would have said, "Yes, of course."
No, not like that. Look, that's the beef kefta.
Oh, yummy beef! Now that I did get a chance to try it, and I thought that was very good.
It was, and it's a big portion. It's $11.99. But it didn't taste quite like what I'm used to in the Food and Wine Festival, because that's like a pocket, and I think the beef was always a little softer. This is almost like a hamburger with spices.
Okay.
It was still good.
I thought it was very. I like the
good.
spice. This is the falafel, which I had,
And that was $8.99.
That was $8.99, and I did like it, but I don't think I'd get it again. It didn't have the flavor that I would have liked. It was kind of bland. You were able to dip it in the sauces, which made it better. And here's that fancy dessert the
it was like
tangerine almond something, but it was
like a not a wrap. I said a roll.
Yes,
like a
you
roll.
could see it was sort of rolled up.
It was good.
Thing.
We had a nice lunch.
And you could see from looking at the other side, just again how big this new restaurant appears that it will be. But of course, we were at Epcot, so we decided to take a walk around World Showcase.
And we met Minnie and Goofy at the Disney Visa photo spot.
Yes, this Minnie gets around. She really does.
Don't say it like that.
Well, she quickly. What?
She doesn't get around.
Well, I didn't mean anything.
Goes from place to place.
You made me miss talking about the new Duffies.
Merchandise.
And here is some new merchandise from Norway.
Well, this is in Germany. These are now cotton shirts instead of more of a women's shirt that I know a little German.
And you'll have to tell about these.
These are in Japan, and I like this Alice in Wonderland bag and Paddington Bear.
I remember Paddington.
I love Paddington Bear. I think this was like a lunch sack. No, this was the lunch sack, and the other one was like a bag. And there's just so many. If you don't go into the World Showcase shops, you're really missing out on an opportunity to at least window shop. Yeah, very stylized Alice in Wonderland.
What were the
Little
prices?
Red
Do you remember the prices on these?
It just depends on the item. Some of these were like $30, $40. Okay, but these were more expensive. These massive Hello Kitty dolls were very expensive. At least one of them was over $100 or $150.
And there's the new night shirt you like.
Paws off.
What does that mean? Paws off. Very suspicious. Oh, and fries. One must get fries for dessert.
Where was that from?
That was a different day. I put them all together.
I didn't know where that came from. That didn't look like the good fries from England, was it?
Yes, that was the good fries. And this is the entranceway with the construction there.
Over in England, they have the very best French fries, but I didn't realize that was them.
Also, we went to Kennedy Space Center last week.
That was very fast.
It was very fast because the Space Shuttle Atlantis new exhibit was opening. We went for the grand opening.
We went for a media tour of it, and we got to do interviews and such the day before, and then there was the grand opening.
And here they go. These are some astronauts and VIPs, and we are about to count down, of course, very fitting, the opening of the Atlantis exhibit. And here outside you see the two towers,
the rocket
boosters, and that was a very
cool
cool
effect. We had heard there'd be fireworks, but it wasn't quite, I guess.
Well, this was, I think what they meant was, it was simulating a liftoff.
Well, I thought it was great. I thought it was much more fitting than like a fireworks display.
So after all the pomp and circumstance, we headed in to check out the exhibit.
And Daren Ulmer and his company Mousetrappe created this terrific pre-show, and then the show that you see that includes the reveal of the Space Shuttle Atlantis, which is absolutely amazing. And I just want to mention Mousetrappe. They've done the Celebrate the Magic and Magic Memories in You, and
Fantasmic, Small World Holiday, all sorts of cool things.
Right, so much. I mean, they don't
Iceploration.
Right, they do like mapped projections, and we'll be talking to him shortly.
But getting back to the exhibit, what a tremendous reveal! This, what you're about to see here, is the first time just the public is seeing the exhibit, and it's amazing. There's cheers going on, people taking pictures. Everybody seems happy.
And it's amazing to see, just the reactions on, on guest faces when the reveal happens.
And once you get into the building, I'm not joking, you could spend hours in there. Mm-hmm. Number one, it's air conditioned.
No, it's not just the air conditioning. It is a great exhibit.
But there's so much. Yeah, there's so much to see. I mean, you could just walk around. It's not just the space shuttle, which is amazing in itself. But there's little exhibits. There's all sorts of things, and we'll get into that soon. Later on, we're going to have a bit more of a tour. But right now, we're going to get back to Daren and hear some more of his stories, talking about the space shuttle exhibit, some of his work for Disney, and a few. And
even
other things.
I don't know if he mentions Busch Gardens Iceploration here or not, but
yeah, so here is Daren.
Hi, I'm Daren Ulmer. I'm from Mousetrappe. We're based in Burbank, California, and we do a lot of film and media for both theme parks and museums and cultural experiences.
And how did you get the name Mousetrappe?
My co-founder and I are both ex-Disney. We were in creative entertainment for years, and the name started as a joke that stuck, but it really stuck when we realized the angle of build a better mousetrap, which is something we wanted to do, kind of create a whole new way in which creatively and technically we create media for shows and experiences.
And we were talking about how you've worked at Disney, but first we're going to talk about Kennedy Space Center
Yes.
and what you've done here. What is it from the pre-show to here,
Yes.
both musically and visually, that you've done?
Got it. This attraction is a unique experience. You don't just enter the room and walk into the room and there she is, but behind you. But in fact, we do kind of a sequence, very theme park pulsed type experience where you start in a pre-show and there's a batching room and we have a loop that's playing as we're batching people into groups of 250, and then we have a 6-minute pre-show, and then you move into the main theater, and the main theater is a big, high-resolution, almost immersive dome architectural projection room. And then, I don't want to give away all the secrets, but it has kind of a critical role in the point that you first get to experience the Space Shuttle Atlantis behind me. And then lastly, we did this 110-foot LED wall, very, very high-resolution LED wall that creates the environment and the scenic. Everybody involved in this project wanted Atlantis to feel alive, not as some relic from the past, but for people to experience her the way that she was in her most kind of heroic role. Well, I have a background with live entertainment at Disney. In the 1990s, I was a part of the music department, working on shows like Fantasmic at Disney Hollywood Studios, some of the parades, a lot of the kind of digital workflow and playback transition that was going on from all the old analog systems that used to run the parades and everything. And I left Disney in 1998 and got back sort of into the more visual side of things, but drawing on my musical experiences, it's always left me connected to both the way that Disney does things and the way they tell stories, and kind of the overall use of music and emotion in projects. So we got involved with the Magic of the Memories in You literally only weeks before it opened, and we were responsible for creating all the architectural protection, working tightly in conjunction with all the technicians and music directors and show directors at Disney, who laid out a really, really wonderful show, really wonderful soundtrack, and it was kind of our job to make that all work on the castle visually.
Well, thanks so much. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
He was very interesting.
And we could have talked to him for many hours.
Yes, no doubt. But if you'd like to hear the entire interview, we will link to that in the show notes.
And we're going to be looking now at the Space Shuttle Atlantis, which is the centerpiece of this $100 million attraction.
$100 million.
But the Space Shuttle itself is over like $1 billion.
Yes,
so it's
but that doesn't count.
$1 billion and $1 million.
We all paid for that.
But the government did not pay for any other part of the exhibit,
right.
which I
That's
like.
all. That's all just from admission. So it's good to support the Kennedy Space Center.
And the Space Shuttle Atlantis is actually rotated at 43.21 degrees with the payload bay doors open and the robotic
Yes,
arm
robotic
extended.
arm. That's a tongue twister.
That's
a tongue twister.
And
aside from all that, it looks cool.
Yes.
It looks like it's actually in space, and you are so close. At one point, it's inches. You can almost touch it. Now, this is sort of a simulation of what it's like inside the capsule.
And we took plenty of pictures in here.
Yes. Well, we were told that in the going forward, this was the preview day, this would be packed and you'd have to wait a long time.
And it was on
and that was a
opening day. It
very
was pretty
true
busy.
thing. So we took full advantage of that and got some pictures. And it's really cool in there. You can hit all the buttons, pretend you're flying. They have a joystick there.
I didn't hit any buttons. Did they do anything?
No.
No, I don't know.
No. But what do you think it's going to do? Take off?
I have no idea.
That would not be very good.
I just wanted to mention that this whole exhibit to me reminds me of like an Epcot pavilion. I mean, it is so in depth that even if there was nothing else at Kennedy Space Center, this one exhibit would be worth the trip.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you have some facts and figures on the space shuttle.
Well, not a ton of them, but 33 successful missions.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this whole exhibit is 90,000 square feet, which is huge.
Yeah, they said it was actually bigger than the Staples Center in California, which
I
is a
didn't
giant
hear
arena.
that.
Yeah,
I
I was
didn't
told
hear
I was
that.
told that. Yep.
And again, it's a $100 million exhibit.
And there was much more upstairs that we didn't get to, and then you work your way around and downstairs, and there's many more exhibits here. Right here is these are actual tires from a space shuttle mission. You can touch them. It's really interesting. And this is the International Space Station.
And those kids are so brave because I would never go into one of these type of tubes and look down. I'm so scared of heights.
Oh, it's very high. Yes, it would be kind of interesting. I don't know if adults can go through there, but
I have no
it would be
idea.
very scary.
But this adult would never go through.
Oh, now here is one of your favorite parts
This
of the
is
whole
one of my
exhibit.
favorite parts.
What did you say? Your favorite what?
Parts.
Oh, parts. Okay.
What did you think
well,
I said?
hopefully, because the subject matter. But
No.
well, I don't
There's
know.
Jeff-
You made me model the toilet, the space
You had me
station
model
toilet.
it too.
So it looks, you have to be very skilled to properly use the facilities.
I didn't realize that astronauts actually need to be trained to use the bathroom so that they aim
Everybody
properly.
needs to be trained.
No, I mean not when you're an adult. When you're an adult, you usually know how to go.
Well, that was all very interesting, and we just saw a bedroom because the astronauts have to sort of be tied up so they don't
Like
float away when they go to sleep.
There's so many really fun exhibits here.
And so anyway, I would highly recommend it. Space Center, it was wonderful.
And they've had some great deals on annual passes recently. Check out their website.
And that's another show. We want to thank our sponsors, Theme Park Connection, Winter Garden, Florida.
And Maple Leaf Tickets in Kissimmee, Florida.
And we will see everybody again next week, hopefully just a little bit earlier.
Yes, we were running a little late this week. Have a great week.
Have a great one.